Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the War Room. We are back after a little hiatus. We apologize for not being able to recap the Garcia-Onama fight night. It was a very solid card, but I'm Chris Royer, joined by Sam Corcoran and Shrikar Rajendran. Guys, I guess just do like a short little recap. What'd you think of the card? And we'll say a sentence. What'd you think of the card in a sentence or a few words? Shrikar, I'm going to pitch it to you first.
No more bets.
That's a great sentence.
I got a sentence. The most controversial UFC card I have ever seen. I've been a fan for a very short time, albeit. But you had the Isaac Dulgarian situation. That's a huge scandal now. Dulgarian's out of the UFC. All roads, I don't want to speculate, but all signs are leading to something's off about that. And then the whole Waldo Cortez Acosta deal with Padilla, where he gets poked in the eye and then Cortez Acosta gets poked in the eye and then comes back like a few seconds later and knocks out D'Elia. One of the weirdest fights I've ever seen. So yeah, one of the more controversial cards I've ever seen personally.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The cat is out of the bag. That was something that I was going to mention.
It's to the corner because he's hosting. But anyways, continue.
Thank you for the treatment. No.
I'll relegate myself.
Hey, all right. We like that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, very tricky situation that, the UFC and I guess now the FBI has to deal with. There's a lot of information that has been made public, but there's definitely a lot of information that has not been made public. So, we're not going to sit here and speculate, but like you said, Sam, that fight is definitely the point of emphasis in this whole, I guess, investigation scandal. And I mean, I noticed a little something was off in the predictions video. I said that there was a lot of money on Yadier Del Val. So maybe something was up then. I'm not going to sit here and, say that there was, because personally, I have no idea. I just, look at statistics and see that something's off. But, for as long as I've been a UFC fan, which is coming up on almost a decade, which is kind of crazy, never seen anything like this. And obviously, I've only been on the sports betting side for the past couple of years, but very fishy. And, preliminary information that was made public, I guess, probably about maybe 100 fights were flagged this year. Could be more, could be less. Don't know. Don't take my word for it. You can do your own research at home for the audience, but, definitely something to look out for if you are putting money down on these fights. We're going to try and stay away from giving you guys financial advice until, this is all figured out, because personally, I don't even want to put my money on any of these fights if I don't know, what is going on behind the scenes. So definitely, something to look out for. I'm sure there will be more information in the future. I know Dana White is 1000% aware of this. I know a lot of the fans are.
He came out, had a talk, and he's mad. He's pissed off.
Yeah, he is awesome. Mad. I mean,
but who's not pissed off? The person who had the lone wolf for that fight.
No, I forgot. Sam got that right.
I got a lone wolf on that fight. Probably if they find more to that fight about how suspicious about the suspicious betting, if it was thrown, that might be the most. We might need to take that off. But
yeah. Well, hey, I mean, doesn't a win is a win. No matter how you get it. But yeah. So we moved from a card that we thought was going to be solid, which in my honest opinion, and I don't know, you guys we talked about
I thought it was a solid card overall.
I thought it was a solid card too.
But
yeah. I didn't want to speak for you guys, but we talked about this before, and now we move to another Apex card that is not so solid. Honestly, it's kind of loose in my opinion. So I think that, we'll see. It's all relative. And, we always look back after the fact and judge it, but let's get right into it and we'll see if some of these fights turn out to be good.
Before we get into it, can I just say a few things about this card?
Yeah, sure.
Overall, there are some pretty good names on this card. I don't want to get that. I don't want to get discredit. There are some pretty fun names on this card that I am excited to see. But at the end of the day, the matchmaking here is just weird to me. It's not really like star power fighters fighting. There's no star on this, and the main event is objectively terrible. One of the worst main events we've had this year. I've also noticed a trend where, and they haven't done this much this year, but on back-to-back Apex cards, the second card's always significantly worse. Do you guys agree with me on that?
Yeah.
The one I'm thinking,
I agree.
August, you had that too. You had a great main event in August, but still, like they kind of put the good ones on that first one, and then kind of the second one's just not as good. Obviously, this is more of a filler for UFC
Next
322, one of the best cards in UFC history.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to find my way there.
Yeah, no, I mean here from a UFC perspective, from a money making perspective, I get it. You can load that UFC 322 up instead of scattering it across Apex cards. Just load that up. I understand that you don't need this. This card is not going to make you money. You do not need the money from this card to help promote UFC 322 because everyone watching this card is going to watch UFC 322 objectively.
Yep. I agree.
I do wish they would stack it a little bit more though. This has potential to be good, and I think the UFC failed.
No, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I agree. I was telling these guys at the start of the week, I kind of took a glance at this card and I was like, all right, I'm kind of just looking ahead to MSG now. I don't really care about this card that much. I care enough to break down the fights on it.
Yes.
But for the love of the game.
For the love of the game, we're going to do it. Yeah, I don't know if this is one I'm going to be watching. I'm not going to like make time to watch it. But I do think there are a couple interesting fights on here, ones that I think could really like be something interesting to break down, but we'll go through it one by one. It's usually how it goes. And then we see at the end, after evaluating, was it better than we thought? Was it worse than we thought? Was it just on par?
Yeah. And you know how bad this card is? The UFC website is wrong about this fight because it's not even the right fighters on it.
Yeah. The first fight of the night, originally slated to be Jackson McVey versus Robert Valentin. Valentin had to pull out due to a back injury. And then there were some rumblings that Dante Johnson might have stepped in fresh off his win against Cedric Dumas. I believe that was last week, which is kind of crazy. Commission didn't clear him. So now it will be Savage Zachary Reese stepping in to fight Jackson McVey. Both are coming off interesting fights. McVey fought Bruno Ferreira on UFC 320? No, it was 318. Excuse
318.
me. 318. Losing by submission. That was a short notice fight. This is another short notice fight for him. And then Zachary Reese in his last contest against Cedric Dumas at Noche UFC fell victim to a nut shot no contest. He was not the victim. Dumas was the victim, but nonetheless, he did not get to continue that fight. Shrikar, I'm going to come to you first. On short notice, who you got winning this fight and why?
Yeah, I'll just take Zach Reese here. Jackson McVey came in on short notice against Bruno Ferreira, got absolutely steamrolled on the ground. This fight probably won't get to the ground. I'm not going to lie. I think it'll primarily stay on the feet. McVey's obviously got that tall 6'4" frame, long legs, some nice high kicks. He looks the part, but I think his boxing is super sus. Against Bruno, he looked awkward, just kind of like slapping shots, not really finding the range. And I think against Zach Reese, that's going to be a problem. So give me Zach Reese in this fight. I think he's going to do it by finish. And pretty straightforward here.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Zach Reese here, kind of for the same reasons. I just think McVey's going to be great on the ground. I also don't think it's going to get to the ground that much, and that's where Zach Reese thrives. So therefore, I'm going to go with Zach Reese over McVey on this one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This fight is 1,000% ending by finish. McVey has never seen, I believe, a third round in his MMA career. I will double check that. He's never been a decision, though. I think the short notice is just a little too much for him. You know, props for him for taking it. It's kind of unfortunate that Valentin had to pull out because I think that actually would have been a really, really good fight and might have been one that Valentin actually could have started a little win streak on. But I think Zach Reese is a little bit too poised as a UFC veteran. He's seen a lot in his time in the octagon. And I mean, I believe he was going to beat Dumas in his last fight. Like I said, no contest due to a inadvertent low blow. I just think he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. And McVey is long, though. He's a very tall, lanky fighter, loves to get the clinch. But I think Zach Reese, he loves the dirty boxing. He likes the short shots. And if he gets on top, McVey does have a strong ground game, but I think Zach Reese is just going to be a little bit too much. So clean sweep for Zach Reese in the War Room. Our next fight, I think this is going to be a pretty good fight. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I
Great
like this
striking
one.
matchup between Daniel Marcos and Miles Johns, both coming off losses. Miles Johns just lost a very close fight to John Matsumoto, and Daniel Marcos in his last fight lost to... Sorry, I'm blanking. He lost to Montel Jackson. Yeah, Montel Jackson kind of put it on him, and Marcos was not able to recover. Sam, I'm going to come to you first. Who you got in this fight?
I'm going with the guy who I think is a little more proven, a guy who has fought up a little bit more, and I think a guy that will win this fight by decision. It's Daniel Marcos. This is a fight in the night contender, and I really could see it going either way, honestly. I just think Marcos has a little more talent in this case, and I think he matches up a little bit better against Miles Johns. Gets a much-needed win, 18-1. That's a future contender right there.
Yeah, I'm siding with Daniel Marcos here. I just think he's the cleaner, more technical striker, and I really like his takedown defense. He's got that nice long jab, and I think he's going to be able to pick Johns apart from range. Johns definitely has power, no doubt, but his entries are wide. He wings those big looping hooks, and it's tough to land clean when you're fighting a guy with good reflexes like Marcos. So if Johns can mix in his wrestling, I think that's where things get interesting. But even then, I think Marcos can stuff the takedowns or pop right back up. And as we mentioned, Marcos' last fight was a decision loss to Montel Jackson, but it was competitive. Montel is legit. He just went to a split with Figgy. Marcos was right there with him. So the skill level is clear. I think he outpoints Johns over 3 rounds, cleaner kicks, better jab. I guess less wasted motions. Probably unanimous decision for Daniel Marcos.
All right, I'm going to take Miles Johns in this fight. I really like Daniel Marcos. I'm high on him. I think that he does have a very good base, and I do think he is the better striker in this matchup. I was a little bit deterred from what I saw in that Montel Jackson fight, and Montel Jackson is very good. Don't get me wrong. And obviously, that is a step up in competition for Miles Johns. But at the end of that fight, Marcos just looked... I don't know. He looked like he was giving up. And I feel like Miles Johns is a fighter where he pushes a crazy pace. Even when he gets tired, he's still going to walk forward. He might have his hands at his hips and start winging it, but he's someone that doesn't give up. And I'm not calling Daniel Marcos a quitter. I just feel like Miles Johns is going to be the fighter that people thought he was going to be. Like, he looked very good against Matsumoto until Matsumoto just pushed that crazy pace and just started wailing it on him and ultimately stole the fight right out from under him. So I think I'm going to take Miles Johns, especially in an Apex cage where the octagon is smaller. I know Marcos likes to move around. He likes to be fluent. And I think in a smaller cage, that might be an advantage for Miles Johns because he's just going to keep walking forward and he might rack up rounds early. He could definitely steal the first round, maybe even the second one. It's going to be a different Miles Johns than Daniel Marcos is going to be used to. I think he's going to learn from that Matsumoto fight and really, hopefully take his career to the next level. So I got a lone wolf on the board already. That's good.
Soundboard out. Hold up.
Oh.
Soundboard is Mando.
Need it.
But it'll be close. I definitely, like I said, Daniel Marcos is the better striker in my opinion. I just don't think it's the better dog in the fight. I think it's the dog with the biggest heart. That is Miles Johns, my opinion. Next fight is in the women's
bantamweight.
Bantamweight. Yeah, I was gonna say bantamweight. They are.
Yeah. If it's a ranked fight on the bottom of a bad Apex card, that's how you know it's a bantamweight fight.
Yeah,
you're right. You're actually very much right. Yeah, but Tecia Pennington taking on Denise Gomes. It's an all right fight. I think that there's a little bit to look at here. You have Denise Gomes, who is, I believe, 4-1 in her last 5. I'm going to double check that right now. Yes, she's 4-1 in her last 5, dating back to 2023. Tecia Pennington is 3-2, dating back to 2021. So she has been, not as active. She is also a lot older than Gomes. She is 36, and I believe Gomes is 25. Gomes is good. She's well-rounded. I would say she might have a slight striking advantage, and she loves to clinch up, very strong on the ground as well. Pennington is very durable, though. Like, I feel like she's not really going to be scared of Denise Gomes striking. And, even if she gets taken down to the ground, she shouldn't have that much trouble getting back up. I mean, Gomes could definitely rack up some time on the ground, maybe steal points, even some rounds that way. But I'm going to take Tecia Pennington here. I think that she is the more experienced fighter. And like I said, she's very durable. I don't think Gomes is going to be able to get her out of there. And I don't think that Gomes has a good fight IQ. There in her last fight against wow, I am blanking. In her last fight, she was piecing who was it? It was Elise Reed. She was piecing Elise Reed up. And yes, she won by ground and pound. But she had so many opportunities to finish the fight before it even got to the ground. And she would just clinch, and clinch again. And I think that is not going to be something you're able to do against a veteran like Tecia Pennington. And I think Pennington's going to have the speed advantage. She won't have the power advantage, but she's durable, will have the speed advantage. And I'm not scared about her suffering too many takedowns that she won't be able to get back up from. I think this fight definitely goes to decision, but I'm going to side with the veteran in Tecia Pennington.
Yeah, now on paper, Gomes is the younger prospect, the up-and-comer. But man, I also really like Tecia in this spot. She's 36, sure, but she's been active, and she's been in there with killers. You look at her past fights, split decision losses to Mackenzie Dern and Tabitha Ritchie, both top-tier grapplers, and then she beat Carla Esparza, she beat Luana Pinheiro. These are great names. Denise Gomes, she's got power, but you look at the wins, Elise Reed, Karolina Kovalkiewicz, Eduarda Mora, like, it is solid, but it's not top 10 material, Tecia just has that nonstop pressure, volume boxing, leg kicks, mixing it up. And the key thing, she doesn't get finished. She pushes 3 hard rounds every single time. So I think Gomes will have her moments early on in this fight, but Tecia is going to outwork her, and I think she's going to take over, in the later rounds. So yeah, give me Tecia Pennington by decision. I think this is going to be a very much a veteran savvy type of fight. And I think she extends her streak here.
Also, sorry for the misclarification. This is a strawweight fight, not a bantamweight fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait. I think I said there's another bantamweight fight on this card that I was thinking of too.
I kind of just went along with what Sam said, but I should have checked. Regardless.
We can put that in the edit. When I say bantamweight, you can just put like strawweight asterisks.
I got
my
you.
point still stands about bantamweight. I'll bring that up for the bantamweight fight. Nonetheless, I do think Tecia Pennington's going to win this fight as well. I have her by decision. I believe she's the underdog right now. Is that correct? Yes. Plus 154. So, I think, and the reason I think I pick her, on paper, Denise Gomes is the better fighter. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm way more impressed. And this was tough to pick because I'm way more impressed with the way she fights and how she's up and coming. But at the end of the day, like, her wins have not been that impressive. Whereas I think Tecia Pennington has been through the ringer before, knows what it takes to get the job done. And that's why I think she does get the job done against Denise Gomes, an up and coming prospect.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Shrikar, I think you said it perfectly. I really like this spot for her. I think this is a win that she can get under her belt and, keep moving forward. I'm not sure how much longer she will be fighting, but, rack up them wins when you can. Make that show money and win money.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, next fight on the card, we got the big boys squaring off. We have Sam's ex-49er player, Josh Hokit.
Hey, Shrikar's ex-49er.
Oh
player
yeah,
too.
you both of you.
About that.
But Sam, you were really hyped that he was on the 49ers.
I was, because I made a whole video about him on my old YouTube channel. Yeah, why don't I start?
You got it.
Yeah, well, I also will say I also didn't realize the person Josh Hokit was.
Yeah, he's kind of a wild man.
Yeah, my thoughts on him have shifted a little bit, to put it lightly. Nonetheless, I do think he wins this fight. He's been impressive in all of his UFC fights. only time will tell to see how far he will go in the UFC because he's in his mid-20s, 27. Like he's in a good place,
He's only
especially in a
27.
week. Yeah, he's young. He's
Oh
27.
wow.
Yeah, he was drafted and he signed with the Niners in 2020. His college career ended in 2019. So, anyways, I just don't know enough about Max Gimenis. And frankly, like it kind of feels like they're kind of just picking him off the street. I'm not gonna lie. He's 6-1, impressive. But I just don't know much about him, to be honest. I think Hokit, he's one of the best. He was a hyped up prospect coming into the UFC. And I think this is his chance to make a good statement against, just to get that first one under your belt, And then after that, they can move him up depending on how he does.
Yeah, you've got Hokit, the former D1 All-American wrestler, obviously ex-NFL fullback, straight up freak athlete. Then there's Max Gimenis. I mean, not a guy off the street. He's a legit Brazilian jiu-jitsu world champ, but obviously the MMA resume, let's be real.
The MMA resume is not. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. And I've seen Gimenis fight, and it's like, okay, high-level grappler, but like, who is he actually beaten? 7 and 8 guys, and he even got knocked out by a dude who was 2 and 4. That's a huge red flag for me.
Yeah.
This is the okay. So this is so this is an off-topic conversation. He's coming from Shogun, which I brought up to you guys in a text earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I was at a casino this weekend, and they host a lot of Shogun fights. And he's from the Baltimore area, so that's where the casino was. Anyways, off-topic fight. So that's Shogun for you,
dude.
guys.
Maybe Max Gimenis was there.
He probably has fought in the. Let's see where he's fought. Let's see.
Oh, I guess my assessment of him won't be very pleasing to him, but
oh no, he's definitely fought in the casino I was at this weekend.
I mean,
Yo, Sam, you should go say hi.
Hokit's undefeated. I mean, he's improving pretty fast. I think this is the matchup where they want to showcase his hands. If he keeps it standing, he's faster. He's just plain meaner. Now, if Gimenis somehow gets on top, that's where it gets sketchy. I mean, dude can finish anyone, but how is he going to take down a former D1 All-American, as the thing? So I think Hokit stuffs the shots and eventually finds the chin. Give me Josh Hokit by knockout. I think he'll probably do it inside a round.
Knockout. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Easily.
I see this ending in a ground and pound for Josh Hokit. I mean, could end on the feet as well. You guys just prefaced who Hokit is, what he's done. He's a very good wrestler, and I agree with you, Shrikar, that this is the fight they want to showcase his hands and just show that he's not a one-trick pony. Gimenis, world-class jiu-jitsu athlete. He won worlds as a brown belt, medaled as a black belt. I'm gonna refer to him as the heavyweight Paul Craig. He does not look comfortable on the feet at all. I think that is really going to be the difference maker here. The one thing that made me slightly, I wouldn't say lean towards him, but not completely count him out, is obviously this guy's a world-class jiu-jitsu athlete. He's probably going to be pretty comfortable on his back, and that's where I see him for most of this fight or for however long it lasts. But yeah, I just, there's not enough substance there to make me confident in taking him. And Hokit has sort of proved himself already, so I'd rather go with the more proven guy in this. And hopefully, it'll be an entertaining fight. Most heavyweight matchups aren't, so we'll see how it goes. But clean sweep for former 49ers fullback Josh Hokit.
This is the next fight I was talking about.
Yes, this should be an interesting fight. We have Jacqueline Cavalcanti taking on Mayra Bueno Silva, who did challenge for the bantamweight title at one point, which is kind of crazy to think.
And one of the worst title fights we've ever seen.
Yes, it was not great. She fought Raquel Pennington, but Mayra Bueno Silva is on a 4-fight winless streak, 3 losses in a row, and then a no contest to Holly Holm, which I believe she won, and then they reversed it. I forgot what happened in that. I do remember watching that fight, though, because she did win. But this is interesting to me because Cavalcanti is very good on the feet. Crisp, fast boxing. She's powerful, too. She, sticks and moves. She doesn't keep her head on the center line at all. Mayra Bueno Silva isn't a great striker, but if she takes it to the ground, she is, kind of like a wet blanket. Like she is very good on the ground. That's where she's most comfortable. And Cavalcanti, hasn't been the best on the ground. When she gets taken down, she kind of looks like a fish out of water. Doesn't really, know what to do. Doesn't make the right choices usually. However, I'm still going to side with Cavalcanti in this fight. I'm going to take her by decision. I think she's just she's going to be a little bit too much on the feet for Mayra Bueno Silva, who, in her last couple of fights just has not been great. When you watch her, just the eye test alone, I don't really see too much substance with her. So I'm going to go with Cavalcanti to move to 10-1. She's on the rise, and I really think that she could be, a perennial top 5 in this bantamweight division, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, that's my pick, Cavalcanti by decision.
I am officially off the Bueno Silva train, man. Ever since that Adderall suspension and the weight cut back down, she just hasn't looked like herself. She's emotional in there, and when things start going south, her confidence just melts. You look at Cavalcanti, she's composed, she's tall, she's got legit kickboxing fundamentals, nice jab, solid teeps, clean footwork. I think she's going to light Silva up from distance. Chris was kind of alluding to it, but Bueno Silva has dangerous jiu-jitsu, sure, but she's got to get it there, and I don't think she can. Cavalcanti's takedown defense is tight, and she is the better overall striker. I think she's going to frustrate Silva, jab her face off. I think she'll walk away with a clean 30-27. So give me Jacqueline Cavalcanti by unanimous decision.
Yeah, not much needs to be said. I got the same here. The UFC also needs Cavalcanti to win objectively because they have nobody at bantamweight right now. I think Cavalcanti is going to be a top 5 contender. I think she can leapfrog. She won't leapfrog herself that far with this fight, but she books herself a top 5 fight with this, and that could be huge for the UFC. Especially you're just trying to pick out the kind of get the dweebs out of there. I'm trying to find a better way to phrase it. That's not coming to mind, but you know what I'm talking about. There's just like, it's just not a loaded division right now. They need a nice up and coming prospect. 10-1. That excites me as a fan. I want to see that 10-1 prospect fight in the top 5. Cavalcanti wins this, and that is a huge boost for the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I like I said, I think she's going to be one of the better athletes in this women's bantamweight division that, is kind of weak.
Yeah.
So in our next fight, we got some featherweight action. Hurricane.
This is a feature prelim, right?
Feature prelim. Yep.
This is the feature prelim. You're right.
Yeah.
Hurricane Hyder, Amil taking on Jamall Emmers. And I think this is going to be a good fight. Amil coming off a loss against Jose Delgado, where he got slept pretty much instantly. It was in the first 30 seconds of the fight. Emmers is, a very grizzled vet, 21-8 in the UFC. He's only 4-4, but coming off a good win against Gabriel Fly Miranda. I want to let you guys take it away because Hyder Amil is from the Bay. And you guys are Bay Area boys. So is the Bay Area boy going to take down Jamall Emmers?
Yes, he is. I have Hyder Amil winning this fight. I think he can do this I'm going to go by decision. I think it'll be kind of close. Look, I was very impressed with him going into that Jose Delgado fight. And I think the stock on Delgado, even though he lost to Nathaniel Wood, has only went up from here. I also think that I think that's a good learning moment for him. His first loss in the UFC, losing to a guy like Delgado is good. And I think against a guy like Emmers, I think he matches up well. Emmers is also, by the way, since 2020, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. This means it's a loss for him.
Oh, I love my trends, bro.
This is a good trend. I'm going by fate here. Hyder Amil gets this done. I have him winning by decision.
Yeah, this is classic bull versus matador stuff. Emmers is the slick boxer, long straight punches, good footwork. Got the nice 1-2 down the pipe. And Amil is just literally chaos put into a human. Pressure, dirty boxing. very relentless pace. He just walks you down and tries to drown you. We mentioned it. He's coming off that rough loss to Jose Delgado where he got kneed into next year. But to be fair, Delgado's a monster in the first few minutes. The big question is, how is Amil's chin after that knockout? Because if it is compromised, Emmers can absolutely put him out early. But sure. If Hyder survives the first round, I think his pressure starts to break Emmers down. Like we've seen Emmers fade when guys won't go away. We saw it in the Landwehr fight. We've seen it before. It's one of those fights where both sides make sense. I think this is either going to be Emmers knocking out Amil in round 1, but I think my official pick is going to be Hyder Amil by late TKO or a decision. I think he weathers that early storm that Emmers is going to bring, and he just keeps coming forward until Emmers eventually cracks. So, yeah, this is kind of like it's almost like a coin flip fight for me, but I'm going to go with Hyder Amil here.
No, I definitely agree. And Amil was the underdog when this line opened up. He's now, a decent favorite sitting at like minus 150. And yes, Emmers is definitely a pressure fighter. He tries to, apply it and so to make you crack. And that's usually how he gets most of his wins, when his opponent really can't hang with what he's throwing. He's a wrestler by trade, but he loves throwing hands too. So he's a very well-rounded fighter. And I think that's a very good thing going for him. Hyder Amil, he just loves dog fights, man. Like this guy just walks in and just loves throwing hands. We haven't really seen him too much hit the ground, so I feel like that would be a very good path to victory for Jamall Emmers. But yeah, I want to take Hyder Amil to bounce back in a big way from his loss to Jose Delgado. And obviously that is shaping up to be a great loss, even though it was in, the first 30 seconds. Jose Delgado is legit. We've been saying this for a decent amount of time. This guy is the truth. He's going to be a problem in bantamweight or featherweight, for a long time. But I think this is going to be a good bounce back test for Hyder Amil. Emmers has been around the block. He's fought some very good opponents. He lost to Nate Landwehr. He's beat Dennis Bazookia. He's fought Jack Jenkins, who I'm pretty high on, Pat Sabatini, Giga Chikadze. So he has fought some decent competition, but I like this test for Hyder Amil. I'm gonna stick with him and say that he gets this done by decision. I think it's gonna be a firefight though, and yeah, I mean I think this is one of the better fights on this card to look forward to if I was nitpicking fight for fight.
Yeah, I said there'd be a couple interesting fights on here. This is one of the interesting fights.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
But we move on to the main card. This is another interesting fight. I'm excited for this. These guys can move. Middleweight bout between Christian Leroy Duncan, CLD, taking on Marco Tulio. 12-2 versus 14-1. Tulio hasn't lost since 2018. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Both these guys are amazing strikers. Do any of you want to take it away? Or
I can get it. Yeah,
right,
I'll do it. Yeah, this one's low-key good. You got Duncan, flashy striker, super athletic, highlight reel kind of guy. But he's also the kind of fighter that looks amazing until you start walking him down. Marco Tulio is the complete opposite of CLD. Shoot box, meat and potatoes kind of striker, way more fundamental. Now, I'll give CLD some credit. The knockout over Eric Anders was very clean. But if we're being real here, I mean, Anders was well past his prime. He got fouled twice and still looked uncomfortable before he got finished. Tulio is a completely different test, Tulio's got real power, and he's just gritty, man. He's not going to stand back and, play kickboxing chess. He's going to walk you down, and he's going to make you fight in the pocket. So I actually think Tulio can make this one dirty. Get inside, land some heavy boxing combos, maybe even drag Duncan down for some top control if needed. He can do that. This is the first opponent for Duncan who can match his athleticism and surpass his physical strength. I think Tulio's body work and his forward pressure are going to wear him. It's going to wear him out over time, man. So I'm going Marco Tulio by decision. Could be a knockout if he finds the chin, but I think he just overwhelms Duncan with the volume, with the control. Shootbox has been on a roll lately. You look at Oliveira, Norma Dumont. Now Tulio, I think he might keep that momentum going. So, yeah, give me Marco here.
You want to go ahead, Chris?
Yeah, sure. I definitely agree, Shrikar. I think that Marco Tulio is a physical specimen, and so is CLD, and both these guys just move so different for middleweight. It doesn't feel like they're middleweights. It feels like they're almost like welterweight, lightweight, and flyweight's a little too light. But yeah, that would be insane. But yeah, I mean, look, CLD, I'm very impressed with CLD because his striking is very technical. He's a kind of a rangy kickboxer that really likes to stay on the outside. And Marco Tulio, like you said, Shrikar, he can kind of do everything that CLD does. And when someone's been able to match his athleticism and his power and almost surpass his power, like when CLD fought RoboCop, I'm not saying RoboCop was moving like that. He kind of just moves forward like a Terminator. But we saw him match his striking ability and his power. And that was CLD's pretty much one loss in the UFC. I believe that was his one loss in the UFC. No, he has two losses in the UFC. Armin Petrosian, someone else who kind of moves like CLD. Very rangy kickboxer, and he's powerful too. So yeah, I think Marco Tulio, he's different, man. Like he only has one loss. That was honestly a very long time ago. And as much as I want to take CLD, like I'm very high on him, I don't see this being a Marco Tulio loss. I honestly, I'm gonna say it. I think sorry, the good boy is barking. I think that Marco Tulio wins this by knockout. I think they stand and trade, and CLD gets clipped, and shoot the box gets another win on the board because, like you said, bro, they've been on a roll. So I'm taking Marco Tulio by knockout. I think we see a finish in this one.
I'm also going Tulio by knockout here. Like you guys said, I mean, Tulio is just willing to walk down his opponents. Like fundamental, can do whatever to get that win. And I don't know if CLD is 100% ready for it. I got Tulio by knockout here, 14-1. That's a very impressive resume, getting closer to those middleweight rankings. It would be 15-1 after that, I should say. Sorry, but yes.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that will be a good fight. If I was tuning into this card for any fight, that would be one of the few that I really wanted to watch. And two of them are back to back, so you might be able to catch the crossover, so you don't have to switch the channel. But our next fight, we have. Nah, I don't know if I'd call Ricky Simone an unk. What do you think, Shrikar?
How old is Ricky?
Ricky Simone.
He's been in the game for a while.
Okay, he's been in the game. He's 33 though, so
that's decently.
You want me to get my pick first?
Oh no, I was just saying if you can. I was just asking if you think he's an unk.
All right, I'll take the lead on it. This is honestly a good piece of matchmaking. I won't lie. Barcelos has looked way better recently. I thought he was cooked after those losses to Umar, Kyler Phillips, Victor Henry, but he's bounced back with 3 straight: Quinones, Talbot, and Garbrandt.
And the question is getting better and better.
Plus 700 underdog, by the way. I told myself I wouldn't do anything betting wise. Still, the question is, can Barcelos handle that relentless pressure and pace from Ricky Simone? Because Simone is almost like he's like a mini Marab. He, constant movement, chain wrestling, dirty boxing, just all out hustle. Barcelos, he's a sharp striker, great takedown defense, but I don't think he can keep Simone off him for all 15 minutes. Simone's shorter, stockier, great base, and I think that makes him hard to drag down, even for a good wrestler like Barcelos. And on the feet, obviously, Barcelos has that clean Brazilian Muay Thai style, but I actually think Ricky's hands are better inside. He loves ripping hooks, and he just makes things ugly in the clinch too. So I think it's going to be competitive, but I think Simone will just edge out 2 of the 3 rounds just by sheer pressure and activity. So give me Ricky Simone by decision. I think this is going to be a 29-28. I just think the pace and the wrestling edge are going to be the difference here.
I definitely agree. And I feel like Ricky Simone has kind of leveled up a little bit. Like, I feel like he hit a little plateau and then he was locked in. I'm gonna say it like that. He kind of just locked in. He's 10-5 in the UFC. And the plateau that I'm talking about, he fought some really good guys. He lost to Song Yadong, Mario Batista, and Vinicius Oliveira. 3 in a row. That was all from 2023 into 2024. And he took a long time off from that Song Yadong fight. He took about a year off. And after that, I mean, he's been on a tear. He has not lost since that Oliveira fight. This year alone, 2 wins under his belt. He took another year off between the Oliveira fight and Javid Basharat, and he flatlined Javid Basharat. That was a absolute. That you'll see that on the KOs of the year compilation that UFC usually releases because he was out cold. And I think Ricky Simone, a fighter who fights behind confidence, needed something like that because when you push the pressure, you don't want to be deterred that, you have a fragile chin or, the other guy is throwing back something hard. You just have to walk into the fire and not be scared. And I think that's what Ricky Simone does so well. He can mix it up. He can stay on the feet. He can take it to the ground. He's comfortable everywhere. I kind of like your comparison to he's like a mini Marab Shrikar. I thought that was that's pretty interesting because, I mean, I never thought about it like that. But now that you say it, yeah, I mean, he kind of just fights in a pressure heavy sense. He's still youthful. He's 33. He's not on the wrong side of 30, which is nice. And I think that skill and, still level of explosiveness is going to be what takes down Raoni Barcelos, someone who's just a little bit going to be a step behind. And I know you can point to that Talbot fight and do some MMA math and say, well, if Peyton Talbot would beat Ricky Simone and Raoni Barcelos beat Peyton Talbot, then, 1 + 2 = 3. I was going to say 2 because I thought I said 1 + 1. It's
I saw the wheels.
Did you see that? Did you see that little pause?
I saw that. Oh my God.
He doesn't want to mess
that
this up.
Chat, don't clip it. Don't clip it.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I mean, 1 + 1 = 2. Sometimes it doesn't. I think here, Ricky Simone's going to be the better fighter on Saturday, and he's going to use his all-around nature and skills to take down Raoni Barcelos, who could have done better in this fight if it was a few years ago, in my opinion. So that's kind of how I feel, much on the level of Shrikar.
Yeah, 100%.
The biggest takeaway I have about Raoni Barcelos, you can never count him out, and that's why I have him winning this fight.
I knew you were going to.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I'm a big Barcelos fan, if I'm being honest. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a very close fight. I just think Barcelos is the grittier fighter. He can stay in these fights a little longer. He can really hang in with anyone. We talk about this mini Marab Ricky Simone is. I think Barcelos is good enough to hang in with that, and he's looked fantastic over his last 3 bouts. I think he gets this one done. I think it will go to decision. It'll be a close decision, though.
Let me see what I know we're
odds
kind of straying away from betting. Yeah, I want to see
odds
what
are
fight to go the distances.
Ricky Simone is a -175 favorite. Barcelos is +145.
To go to decision is -200. Not bad. Also, I mean, Raoni Barcelos, if you think he's gonna win a round, him +3.5 is -160. It's not terrible. I don't really do point spreads like that. I feel like a lot of people do, and I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing point spreads because judging is not the best sometimes. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys ever look at that?
Well, it's kind of like, what can you be comfortable betting anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Bad question.
But to answer the question, like even before, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of betting point spreads. I just feel like it's like a weird bet to make,
right?
Yeah.
It's not like a regular point spread for a basketball game or a football game.
And also, for what it's worth, I suck at math, and I don't want to do math. So I don't.
Yeah, 30, 27, 29, 28, and 28, 28. It's like, did I win?
Yeah, like nah.
I don't know. I feel like that. I mean, I guess betting by decision and betting on fighters is leaving your money in someone else's hands. But I feel like points is like you're just giving them the money and saying, can it come back to me in tenfold? It's like, I don't know.
It's a very interesting bet to make. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, no, I agree because I see a lot of people tailing that. But our next fight, we have the first Bonfim brother, Ismael Bonfim, taking on Taco Chris Padilla. This should be an interesting fight. This one is taking place at lightweight. Sam, I'm gonna pitch it to you first. Who you got in this fight and why?
I think this is a good boxing fight at the end of the day. I think if you look at their win by, like both of these guys have won a lot by boxing. I think I'm just going to go with the better boxer and the better all-around fighter, in my opinion. That's Ismael Bonfim. I think he gets this done by knockout. I think he's a little more proven. It'll be a close one, though. I mean, a lot of these odds are very close. I think that's the one thing to focus on as well. But I think Bonfim gets it done.
I'm rolling with Taco. Give me Taco Padilla.
Ooh, okay.
Bonfim's flashy, dangerous, but I just think he's really inconsistent. Like, you look at the Terrence McKinney knockout, sky high hype after that, but since then it's been very up and down. He lost to Santini. He looked okay against Vince Piquel, and then he got head kicked by Nazem Salikov. And you look at Taco Padilla, he's low-key 3-0 in the UFC, and he just keeps finding ways to win.
It's a very low-key 3-0.
He's not flashy, but
yeah,
he's pretty. I think he's very hard to look good against. Bonfim's got the striking edge, good straight punches, very slick kicks, but Taco's defense is really underrated. I think he's going to shell up, block, and then pressure right back into the clinch. I think that dirty boxing, cage control style wins rounds, especially in the Apex where it's a smaller cage. I think that's really going to benefit Padilla. And again, I think that's the X factor, the small cage. Bonfim needs space to work, and Taco is not going to give him any. So I think Padilla crowds him, lands elbows in close, and just frustrates Bonfim. So give me Chris Padilla by decision, maybe even late finish if Bonfim fades again. I think Taco's momentum is real. I think he pulls this off, and I think he keeps the streak going.
Shout out Jameis Winston. I heard they're serving up W's in the form of tacos on Saturday night.
Oh, man.
I'm taking Taco Padilla too. I like Ismael Bonfim. Love the Bonfim brothers on Contender Series. Came into the UFC. A lot of hype around them, especially after Ismael had that epic flying knee against Terrence McKinney in Brazil on, I believe it was 283. That was insane. He's been inconsistent. I'm with you, Shrikar. He's losing fights that, in my opinion, he should be winning. Against the, Salikov and Saint Denis, those are obviously tough opponents, and you can give him a break on that. But he just didn't put up a fight like I wanted him to put up a fight. And Padilla, you said it, he's 3-0, and it's a very low-key 3-0. Like, you don't realize he's undefeated in the UFC until you just look a little bit deeper. And look, I'm not saying I'm riding the hot hand, but I think that Padilla doesn't have the volume that Bonfim does on the feet, but he is a much better grappler than Bonfim. And if he can stick with him on the feet, and he has power too, don't get me wrong. This is a guy that we thought, like, I think Rongju is a dog, and he got him with a doctor's stoppage in the second round. So he can throw hands. He's definitely better on the ground. I feel like he has more paths to victory than Bonfim does. So I'm gonna roll with the underdog. Shrikar and I giving Sam another lone wolf. Hit it.
Bang.
I was gonna say that was a sad lone wolf.
Anyways.
That's so funny. Dude, that's
the next one.
Great. Whoever made that, you're awesome.
The person who put it in is even more awesome. Yours truly.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, this is a fun one. I'm excited for this one too.
Another banger. Both of these guys coming off sick knockouts. Muslim Salikov, the king of Kung Fu, taking on Uros Medic. I'll go first. I think this is going to be a great fight. Definitely taking place on the feet. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And both these guys are better, like very good strikers. You have Salikov, who can hit you with literally any punch or kick known to man, and Uros Medic, who walks through the fire and can get it done when he's facing adversity. The thing is about Medic, I feel like he gets off to too slow of a start, and he usually gets knocked down before he even gets up to finish his opponent. And I'm going to take Salikov, even though he's the much older fighter. I'm riding the hot hand with him. And I think that you need to come ready when you're fighting Salikov. And if you're not ready, he's going to knock you out cold in the first round, just like he did to Carlos Leal. So, yeah, I feel like it's two good strikers. One gets off to a slow start. Other one gets off to a fast start. I feel like 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm also going to side with Muslim Salikov on this one. He's just impressed me a lot more, I'm going to be honest. That's all it is. Uros Medic is fantastic. His last knockout was amazing. But Salikov's on a different tear right now. I think he's a lot closer to the rankings, too. I know he's old, but he's getting close to the rankings, man. I would love to see one final push for Salikov to just crack that top 15, see what he can do before it gets too late. Give me Muslim Salikov by knockout.
Yeah, this fight is, I think this is the toughest fight to call on the card for me.
I'd agree.
Like, on one hand, Salikov is 41, but he's looked shredded lately. Like,
yeah,
obviously the spinning kick knockout over Son Keenan, the overhand right finish against Carlos Leal. You know, dude still got it, but yeah, he's also 41. You cannot ignore father time forever. Medic is faster, and you know he's got that sharp southpaw left hand. He's dangerous early, and he's confident when he gets going. But the chin, I think the chin is what worries me, man. He's been dropped and even flatlined by guys like Puna Soriano, you know? So I think this fight comes down to timing. If Salikov catches Medic early with one of those, you know, really sneaky overhands or, you know, one of the spinning shots, like it's over. But if Medic survives that first round, like his volume and speed will probably take over late in the fight. Yeah. Okay. Official pick. I'm going to stay true to the OG. Give me Muslim Salikov by knockout.
Yeah, there you go.
He might only have one more big one left in him, and I think this is it. Yeah. Give me Salikov. This one is very tough, though.
I agree with you that he might only have one more big one, but I think Medic is going to fight the fight that forces it out of him. He's not going to let him rest. So,
but I think that's what scares me, though.
That's what scares you.
Well,
I don't know.
I'll go with Salikov.
King of Kung Fu, baby. Every time I've doubted him, he just does something crazy. So now maybe that I'm rooting for him.
Now that we're all picking him, he's probably...
Yeah, no, he's going to lose. Damn it. You got to be kidding me. Oh, okay.
Can I start with this one?
Yeah, 100% co-main event, flyweight bout, tough finale winner, Joseph Morales.
This is the finale for Ultimate Fighter.
No. He did win the finale against
I was going to say he won the... No, I was going to say I thought he won that. Nonetheless, this should not be the co-main event. This is objectively not co-main event worthy. And this is not a discredit to these guys. They just need to prove it more. There are more proven fighters on this card. I really don't like calling this the co-main event. But we have to do it. I'm going with the Ultimate Fighter winner, Joseph Morales, in this one. Give me Morales by knockout. He looked phenomenal in his last time out. Meanwhile, Schnell's just meh to me. I don't know. Just give me Morales, and this should not be the co-main event. I'll make it quick.
Yeah, I think Schnell's cooked. He retired, came back, beat Jimmy Flick, but even in that fight, he looked shaky. I mean, the durability is gone.
Yeah,
his chin just isn't holding up. Joseph Morales, though, I really like him. I really do. Alpha male product, well-rounded, slick grappler, good hands. I mean, he's hitting his prime right now. He's been on a heater. Won the Ultimate Fighter, beat Alibi Idris, submitted Henrique. I mean, his guy's trending up. I think Morales takes Schnell down early, and he will eventually find the neck from there. Schnell's tough, but he makes too many mistakes in these scrambles. So give me Joseph Morales by submission. I think he'll probably do it in the second round. Schnell is just too hittable and too fragile at this point. Morales is younger, smarter in the cage. I think he'll get it done.
That's crazy, bro. I literally was going to say Joseph Morales by finish in the second round.
Yeah.
I don't know if it might, I would lean towards submission, but I could see kind of a ground and pound club and sub. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. I was thinking the second round, though. I think Matt Schnell could last. But yeah, I think the durability is gone. Coming out of retirement for a fight like this, and Joseph Morales is hungry. I mean, this is a guy that was in the UFC before. You know I like to cling to it, but he fought Figueiredo when Figueiredo was on the way up. He got cut. He came back to the Ultimate Fighter with an absolute vengeance to earn his place back in the UFC. A huge underdog against Elibi Adiris and absolutely smoked him. He smoked Elibi. So I'm very high on him, and I'm really looking forward to what he can do in the UFC from now on, because I think he's a little bit of fresh blood for this flyweight division. And he's someone that isn't going to settle for less. So I like that he's taking a fight against a grizzled vet. And even though Schnell is sliding down a mountain that has the worst possible mudslide on it. I don't like this fight for him. I really don't know why he took this fight. Props to him, though. But I think this is going to be a little showcase for Joseph Morales, and, for him to prove that, hey, maybe he's not a one-trick pony. He might fight on the feet, take him down, show us he can do a little bit of everything. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do and the improvements that he's been making. And he had a little showcase of it before on UFC 319. But another clean sweep for the War Room for Joseph Morales, who is kind of growing on me. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yes.
I think he's good. He's good.
100%. Oh, main event. Sam, how do you feel about this main event? Do you think it's as bad as the co-main event?
So here's my issue with it. I personally think that this is a okay main event for an Apex card. I say okay. They could have done better with this, and I think where they could have done better with this. Why is Gabriel Bonfim fighting down? He should be fighting up. This guy's 18-1. He has dominated a lot of the opponents he's faced. He can submit almost anybody. He just looks phenomenal overall. I know Wonder Boy gave him a good test. Wonder Boy, right?
Yes. Wonder Boy almost won.
And he lost to Dalby, too.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I still think he's deserving to fight up rather than fight an unranked guy. It doesn't even have to be like that far up. This will be a close fight, though. I do like the fight, and I'm going to go Bonfim by submission here. I just think he is a better fighter, frankly. He's looked fantastic in all his fights. I think Wonder Boy was a great test for him. And the fact that he passed that test, I think, says a lot, because I think Wonder Boy gave him a bit of a challenge. He overcame the adversity and ended up winning. I think there's a lot to learn from that, especially after that win. I think if you can learn from that and come out against Randy Brown, I think he can do it. So I'm going to go Bonfim by submission.
Honestly, I think this is the perfect matchup for Bonfim to remind everyone why he's one of the brightest prospects in the division. Brown's a slick boxer, long 78-inch reach, solid jab, fast straight right hand. He's been in the UFC forever. He's durable. But, yeah, Bonfim's the better all-around fighter here. The grappling, the pressure, the submission threat, that's his bread and butter. So I think Bonfim's going to walk him down, chain wrestle until he gets the back. Brown can hang on for a while, but once Bonfim locks on, I think it's game over. I see a competitive first round, though. I think in that first round, Brown is going to touch him up a bit, but I think once Gabriel fills that distance, he's taking him down, eventually choking him out. So I will go Gabriel Bonfim by submission, probably round 2. Bonfim's 28. I think this is where he reasserts himself as a legit top 10 welterweight threat.
Sorry, the good boy was barking again. Good boy.
Good boy indeed.
Yeah, I think Bonfim is one of the best prospects that we've seen in a minute. You know, he's had a little bit of some lapses that make you question that. Obviously, like I said, him and his brother came into the UFC at the same time. I was both very high. I was high on both of them. And what I saw in the last fight did not please me from Gabriel Bonfim. I'm going with the boy from Long Island. Actually, Queens, but it's on Long Island. Randy Rude Boy Brown. I see this ending in a knockout because Randy Brown has ow. Yes, sir. Li, is that the right way?
That is the right way. Nice.
All right, perfect. Sorry, I'm mirrored, so I don't know. But yeah, look, I think Bonfim is very good, and I can see him, you know, trying to dominate this fight by taking Randy Brown to the ground. Randy Brown has very good takedown defense, sitting at just south of 75%. I believe it's like 73%. He's also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So Bonfim isn't going to have the easiest time trying to just take him down and submit him. And if it stays on the feet, I am pushing all my chips in the middle and saying that Randy Brown could absolutely knock out Gabriel Bonfim, especially if a 40-year-old Wonder Boy was doing that to him. And arguably Wonder Boy won that fight. I didn't think it was a robbery, but it was definitely very close. Look, you can't play with Randy Brown on the feet. And if Bonfim isn't going to get him down and just straight suffocate him, even if he does, this is a 5-round fight. I don't know how long Bonfim's going to last. I think Randy Brown has a lot of experience that he can fall back on. And I know you can be a black belt in BJJ. It really matters where you get it from. But I've seen Randy Brown do grappling. He is not a scrub on the ground. So I'm going to go with Randy Brown, who is a lot bigger than Bonfim too. 2 inches taller, about a 5.5-inch reach. Look, I like to say this, especially with a bunch of grapplers. Every fight starts on the feet. Every round starts on the feet. If Bonfim's not able to take him down and actually hold him there, he's going to be in for a world of pain. So give me Rude Boy Randy Brown by TKO in the 3rd round.
Ooh, okay. Very specific.
3rd round. I think we're going to see Bonfim have early success on the ground, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold Randy there for long. So it'll be a good fight, though. I obviously, it's not the best main event, but it's definitely not a bad fight.
It's not a bad fight, but I mean, after we go through this entire card, I don't think my thoughts have changed at all.
I agree.
I'm still like not like, oh man, I have to sit down and watch this entire card. You know what I mean? Like, I think if there's any card that I'm gonna skip, it's gonna be this one. Before we get into MSG and Qatar and all the amazing events that are gonna follow. Obviously UFC 323 as well. So this week will probably be my break from UFC. We'll let the whole betting stuff play out. We'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll probably stream next week. Pending some news, pending what happens. But yeah, I overall just not too thrilled by this card, but definitely some sneaky bangers on there.
Right now, I have 4 fights on my watch list. Out of how many are there? 13, I believe. I don't think I can count. Let's see. 13. Oh, I can count. Perfect. Actually, Topology told me exactly, so I did no counting there. 4 fights. Miles Johns versus Daniel Marcos.
It's 12. It's 12, not 13.
It's 12?
Yeah. Tapology, because Tapology has Dante Johnson on still.
No, but he's fighting McVey. Zach Reese is fighting McVey.
We went over 12. What fight are we missing?
No, we went over 13. We went over every fight.
The Yanez. Yanez doesn't have an opponent anymore. He was supposed to fight Christian Quinones, but Quinones dropped out. So Adrian Yanez does not have an opponent, but it's probably not updated on those sites.
No, there's 13.
What fight are we missing? We have. Let's go through top to bottom just to make sure. Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown.
Yep, that's 1.
Matt Schnell versus Joseph Morales.
2.
Muslim Salikov versus Uros Medic.
3.
Chris Padilla versus Ismael Bonfim.
4.
Ricky Simon versus Raoni Barcelos.
5.
CLD versus Marco Tulio to wrap up the main card.
6.
Prelims: Hyder Amil versus Jamall Emmers.
7,
Mayra Bueno Silva versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti.
8,
Josh Hokit versus Max Gimenis.
9,
Tecia Pennington versus Denise Gomes.
10,
Miles Johns versus Daniel Marcos.
11. Oh, what?
wrong?
No,
We
you're
should have
right.
known. As soon as he said 1 + 1 = 1 or 1 + 2
Yeah,
=
that's
No,
what I
I
was
said
saying.
1 + 2 =
known.
3. I got it right. The cogs were turning.
Well,
There might
anyway,
have been
hey, here's
smoking in
the
my
thing. If Yanez finds an opponent, then it's 13.
All
That is
right,
13.
so I hope you guys had fun with math with Chris. Clearly,
I will not hire you as my math tutor.
oh,
Mark down
dude,
math
please
tutor.
don't. I wouldn't. I would need 5 tutors to do good at math. Not the best with numbers, but I like betting.
Anyways,
Here you go.
Money's coming in. You don't need to know what number it is. It's just coming in. But yeah, it should be a good card. Okay, so now that I realize I can't count, Miles Johns, Daniel Marcos, I think is going to be a solid fight. Hyder Amil, Jamall Emmers, CLD versus Marco Tulio, and I want to see Bonfim versus Randy Brown. I think those are 4 fights to look out for if I was telling someone to watch good fights.
I also say Salikov and Medic if you want to watch it finish.
Salikov and Medic, so I'll give it 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. It's all relative until you see how it actually pans out, and then you go back and say, hey, that was actually a better fight than I thought. So yeah, can't judge a book by its cover.
We'll see.
But yeah, sometimes you can judge a book by its cover. But that'll do it. We will be back hopefully maybe Sunday, sometime next week if we're not able to. And if we do go live, we will definitely post a community post. We'll get it up on Twitter. So make sure you guys follow the socials in the bottom right corner, right next to Sam's beautiful face.
Hey, hit the like button on the video.
yes, sir.
Turn post notifications on. Comment your picks for this fight card.
Yes, sir.
Comment if this card is good or not. Argue with us.
Let us know.
Let us know, man.
100%. We all appreciate your guys' thoughts and questions and comments. It helps us give us content, and we like to communicate with you guys, the audience. So that'll do it. We'll see how this card does. But for Shrikar Rajendran and Sam Corcoran, I am Chris Schroyer. Until next time, from the War Room.